The topic that's in your agenda is a fairly benign one and unemotive. I'm going to be covering the fusion capability and all things that's usually associated in terms of information collection of bulk data in the context of privacy. We'll cover a lot of ground in the next 20 minutes, from the process by which humans have accumulated data over a millennium to advances in law enforcement methods to apply meaning to such data. I'll also be addressing the hairy gorilla in the room, and I'll expound on why I'm using that analogy later. That is the privacy debate. I'll be outlining why the Australian Crime Commission, as an agency responsible for responding to the most serious of organised crime threats, with the powers of a standing royal commission that's exempt from privacy, is such an advocate of privacy. Firstly, though, I want to give you a snapshot of organised crime's operations in the information economy. The characteristics that make new technology so attractive for legitimate businesses make them similarly attractive for organised crime. I'm talking here about the speed, the ease, the cost effectiveness, the profit potential, the security, the anonymity, and the range of transactions that can be conducted. The internet has allowed for the advent of criminal acts such as hacking, spamming, denial of service attacks that were inconceivable prior to the digital age. At the same time, the internet has become a vehicle that assists and expedites traditional crimes such as fraud, identity theft, and money laundering. Time does not permit me going into future digital crimes involving mobile technology, but they loom very large on the horizon. You've already heard from ACC CEO John Lawler that organised crime groups are unfettered by technology, legislation, and, to be frank, morality. They don't have to answer to shareholders or develop policies, systems, protective controls. They don't have to spend hours in research and development to make sure their results are foolproof. If something works, they run with it. They're also becoming increasingly sophisticated about their own methods of operations and how to counter ours. Earlier this year, one of the world's biggest technology corporations, Cisco, reported that an organised crime group behind the Zeus banking Trojan had built-in anti-piracy protections on their software in a bid to keep other criminals at bay. Organised criminals are opportunistic and fast. Frequently, they're moving faster than businesses and government agencies are capable of moving to secure and protect systems as individual entities. How fast? Well, here's one of many, many examples. You may be aware that in January last year, the United States put in place a compulsory visa scheme that underpinned by an electronic system for travel authorisation. This system did not come online until the 12th of January, but the US government promoted it widely within the months leading up to the launch. Now, that's an important public messaging campaign that most agencies and private sector organisations would adopt. But unsurprisingly, bogus websites were up and running well before the official website. Such bogus websites offered services to help people register for travel authorisation and negotiate the myriad of bureaucratic requirements that may come with that by paying a fee of $50 US or 49.95 Australian dollars, as it turns out. People falling victim to this scam faced a variety of harms that ranged from money loss, identity theft, an infected computer, but even physical intrusion and property theft in their homes, because these criminals knew when they were leaving the country. Because part of the online process requires travellers to provide their date of birth, their passport details, information about existing medical diseases, crime records. This type of phishing trawls for more and more information than what you would associate with a simple banking transaction. Not only did people fall victim of this scam, but they risked deportation upon arrival at their destination because they lacked official authorisation and also faced later visa application problems. Added to this, on the 8th of September this year, the US government began charging a $14 fee for travel authorisation. Now criminals have even more opportunities to engineer fraud as they scope out credit card numbers and other financial information, as well as personal details on these fake sites. And so on it goes. This example nevertheless highlights classical features of the information economy. It blends legitimate service delivery and with that, supply and demand arrangements based on personal information. The very demand of which and its supply continues to present opportunities for serious and organised crime exploitation. E-activity is now conducted as a long-term, sustainable criminal operation. This means that the further digitalisation of the economy poses greater risks to individuals, businesses, governments, and the very fabric of society. Quite simply, organised crime is taking advantage of an age which the floodgates are open on a torrent of data exchange and its subsequent storage. Now, data exchange and storage is nothing new. Humans have always been able to find ways to store historical data. We've sung songs, some of us not so well. We've spoken stories. We've painted on rock walls. We've written on clay tablets and parchment. We've conducted censuses. We've compiled almanacs, annual reports, and kept ledgers. What is new is the massive acceleration of exchange and storage since the advent of the internet and computers at large. In August this year, while speaking at a technology and economy conference in California, the Google CEO, Eric Schmidt, told delegates that every 2 days now, we create as much information as we did from the dawn of civilization up to the year 2003. I'll say that again. Every 2 days now, we create as much information as we did from the dawn of civilization up until the year 2003. So let me just put that in perspective. It means that since we started this conference, more information has been generated in the world in all the years between when we kicked off and 2003. We've even had to start developing new words to describe this. So we now have exabytes, or 1 quintillion bytes. We have zettabytes, or 1 sextillion bytes. And we have yottabytes, or 1 septillion bytes. As of 2009, the entire internet was estimated to contain close to 500 exabytes. So we have a new language developing. The amount of business that the world conducts online is obviously booming. While precise figures for e-commerce are hard to come by, largely because of its proprietary nature, we do know that e-commerce in America is valued to at least $130 billion US AUD. These figures will only rise given that although worldwide internet usage is approaching 2 billion, internet penetration rates are only at 50% in Europe and 17% in Asia, compared to 73% in North America. It's estimated that most major corporations today hold more than 3 terabytes of user data. So for those of you who were paying attention earlier, A terabyte is 1 trillion bytes, and 1 million terabyte equals 1 exabyte. That's Richard Grant, National Manager, Target Development, Australian Crime Commission. Well done, Richard. We're on the same page. We have to be.